Hey, this is Rob Konrad from Switzerland, and special gifts often come with a curse. And this certainly was the case for today's guest, John Austin, a.k.a. the Backwords Dude. When he was 5 years old, he discovered that he was able to speak backwards as easily as he can speak normally. But he also felt different from other kids his age and had difficulties connecting with them, which led to bullying and isolation. When he grew up, he also discovered that while he has the ability to work on certain things with extreme focus and dedication, he would get extremely irritated if things didn't go the way he liked it, something that led to a lot of conflict in his workplace, but also in his private life. It wasn't until he was 36 years old that he was diagnosed with a specific form of autism, a condition called Asperger's syndrome. So today we'll talk about what it means to be different. We'll talk about autism, Asperger's, and the challenges of living with it. And of course, we'll talk backwards a little bit. Thanks for taking the time on New Year's Eve, actually. John Austin.
Yeah, glad to be here. This is exciting.
Yeah, thanks for making time. I mean, we're very close to midnight here in Switzerland, so thanks for taking time. I really appreciate it. I know you have to.
Oh, wow, that's right. It is almost midnight over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 10 p.m. Yeah, so we have like two hours to go.
There you go. What a way to wrap up the year.
But as I said, we got 3 little kids, so there's nothing much to do anyway. So they just get grumpy, and then it's not much fun anyway. So
sure.
I don't want to keep you too long. I don't want to keep you too long from celebrating tonight.
Of course.
So yeah, when I hear autism, like I think of that that dude from Rain Man. What was the name of that Dustin Hoffman played, like Raymond or something, like when we talked a bit before, and you seem perfectly normal. You seem like if I would meet you, I wouldn't ever suspect you have autism or Asperger's.
Exactly. And that right there is the whole conundrum with the whole thing is people meet me and they think, oh, John's this great guy and he's so normal. And then when they get to know me a little bit, it's like, John's kind of weird, And it's not anything that I do. It's like sometimes I don't really make eye contact with people, or I don't really speak up enough. I have a tendency to be a little quiet. And I'm not interested in the same things that most people are interested in. Sports, video games, things of that nature. So it's hard to connect. But I'm very personable, and the people that do know me really like me, and I'm thankful for the friends I've got in my life. So, that's nice.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay. So before we get to the details of that, I'm sorry, but we have to do it. Can we do the little backwards thingy?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got the app right here. Let me go ahead and pull it up.
Yeah.
Gosh, I've got requests coming in for my YouTube channel right now. I'm going to have to swipe these away and get back to them. Turn the volume up here.
So I'm sure you've done this a million times, but it's just
I have. So here I've got it.
People who haven't watched this, and we'll edit this in afterwards anyway in higher quality. But
sure, I'll send you the files. Yeah.
And so we haven't practiced. And I don't know what to say. Could you say? So my 3 daughters, they have very special names for Switzerland.
Okay.
They are called Sienna, Savannah, and Missouri.
And so, Missouri?
Missouri, yeah.
And Missouri. Oh, Missouri.
No, Missouri.
Sienna,
Missouri,
and what's
Missouri.
the other one? Sienna and what?
Sienna, Savannah, and Missouri.
Okay, Sienna, Savannah, and Missouri. Okay.
So could you say Happy New Year, Sienna, Savannah, Missouri?
Okay. Iruzum, Anavas, Ionis, Sienna. Hold on, I got to do it again. Sienna, Anais, Sienna, Savannah, Missouri. Iruzum, Anavas, Anais, Reunipa. Okay.
Happy New Year, Sienna, Savannah, Missouri.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, good.
That's amazing. So, what goes through your mind if you get these kind of requests? So can you does it come naturally, or because you don't seem to have to think about it really?
Well, actually, I had to think about that one a little bit, just because I'm nervous. But no, I wouldn't have to think about it like anyone else would. What comes to my mind are the sounds. And then after the sounds, the order of the words. So the words are their own sounds, but I've got to put them in the correct order. And so the longer a sentence, the more difficult it becomes to say, because you've got to not only switch the sounds around, you've got to switch the order of everything around to make it logical, you know. So that's very difficult. You know, I've had people give me things like, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And I've learned it, so it's easy to just rat off. But, you know, if someone were to just give me something like that and I'd never practiced it, what I would do is I would have to write it down. And that way I would have to like study it. And it's weird. People tell me that when they see me do it, they can see my brain working. You can look and see my eyes like fluttering, almost like a matrix type of thing. Isn't that weird? You know? And it's like, you know, because my brain's literally flipping all the sounds, and then I'm going, okay, you know, and I might see a word that I've never done before, and so I have to quickly learn it, but it's like instant. So it could take me 30 seconds to a minute to say how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood after it's been written down, and I have to process it. Maybe 30 seconds, but then I have to read it. To commit it to memory, when I did that one for memory, it took about an hour to commit it to memory backwards.
Okay. So I guess because I think the human brain, for most people, they can store like 8 pieces of information at a time. So like 8 numbers or something is like the maximum you can put in your short-term memory. So I guess if you get a long sentence, it would be hard enough to remember it in like the right direction.
Right.
So doing it backwards, the problem is also to memorize that in like forwards.
It's a lot of information, and for the most part, I can do it very easily. So when people give me a simple sentence that's 5 to 6 words, then I'm able to just rat that off, like it's butter,
Okay, so if I say the coffee tastes great.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that for you. Coffee tastes great. If you notice, I'm repeating it. So it's kind of downloading it into my mind. Coffee tastes great.
Coffee tastes great.
Fantastic.
And so that's just off the cuff without practicing it or anything.
Yeah. Okay. It's but the words itself, they appear in your head, or how does it work? Because if I would have to do it, the way I would start with it is like coffee is like COFFE, so I would start like EFFOC. So
you're spelling it.
How does that?
Yeah, so you're visualizing it. You can't visualize it. You have to hear it, and that's the trick. You can't read backwards and then have that come out forward. See, some words you can, like coffee, you spell E and then fuck, that would kind of be right. But tastes great, if I were to spell that backwards, it'd be tiarg, stats or something, stat, yeah. And that wouldn't come out right. If you notice, I'm really having to think hard to do that, because I can't just speak to you backwards the way a word is spelled, because that doesn't make sense to my brain.
Okay.
It's the sound.
So you can't just spell backwards. It's really something that's somehow it's there, or
Yeah, exactly. I never forget when I was a little kid, when I first got into all of this, I asked my mom what my name was backwards, and she told me it was Nitsua Naj, and that's incorrect. That's how it's spelled. But it's really John Austin backwards is Nitsua Naj. And so for a little boy to realize that, at such an early age, I would say maybe I was 6 or 7, when she told me that. But for someone of that young to realize that and what the difference is, that's really huge. And to have such a hard time in school and not be able to do my schoolwork and not be able to focus on it and be put in special classes with troubled kids, and when really I did not belong there. That's frustrating. And I look back at it and I think, that's just not right. Why could they not see the brilliance that was there? And I never counted it as brilliance until, a couple of years ago when that doctor told me I was brilliant because I could do it. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, not me. So this
okay.
has been a very eye-opening thing for me. So I'm very grateful for backwards talking and backwards things. It just shows you what the human mind can do.
Absolutely. So let's start also backwards in terms of your discovery that you were diagnosed with Asperger's a few years back. So how old are you now?
I am 48 right now.
48 right now. Okay.
Yeah, 48. And
48. Geez, you look like 10 years younger.
Yeah. I look like exactly. I have always looked 10 years younger. So when I went to film school at 38, everybody thought I was in my mid-20s. And so it worked, I was given a second chance at learning a social life because of my youthful looks and going to school late. And so I learned socializing in my late 30s, early 40s. And so I've been able to enjoy a normal social life, all the way from 38 on up to 48 the last 10 years. It's been very nice. And a lot of my friends now, they're like, John, we just don't see that there's anything wrong with you. Are you sure you've got this Asperger? So I'm like, believe me, sometimes I ask my friends questions like, well, if some person says this or looks at me this way, what does that mean? And a lot of times they'll say, well, John, don't worry about that. That person has a problem. And most of my friends are a good 10 to 20 years younger than me. And so they're kind of having to tell me these things, and they get it. They've been friends with me for a good while. And it's nice to be able to have those kinds of conversations. But yes, I'm 48, look late 30s, and was diagnosed at 46 with Asperger. So I got that one. So it's not 36, 46.
In my introduction, I thought you're like, oh, okay, he's like 38 and 9 something.
Right,
okay, so
of course, right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But no, I went, till 46 years old, not knowing. But the thing is I realized that, in my late 30s that I needed to start working on this. And I thought, what? I'm gifted with, video editing and audio and things like that and do a good job, but I'm kind of stuck where I'm at. I need to go live in another town, go to school, get that experience, and I'm so glad that I did.
Okay. So before you got diagnosed with 46, how was life for you? So how did you feel different? Was it like you had problems socializing? Was it that you had... we had our first discussion. You talked a little bit about how you are very specific with the way how you like things and how you get frustrated and irritated if things are not working out the way you want them to be. So how was life before the diagnosis for you?
Well, where I'm from, I'm from the Southeast, and in the Southeast, people are very nice to you, to your face, but then they talk bad about you behind your back. They'll never be upfront with you. Those things started coming back to me, and I started realizing, there's something that I'm doing, and I want to change. And so then I went out to Los Angeles, and my point here is that people are more direct with you. They will tell you if they don't like you. They will tell you if you've done something. And so the word that they used for me was aloof, which means distant, uninterested, maybe cold with a chip on the shoulder. And I thought, really, I thought I was being very personable. But it turned out that I wasn't being read that way at all. And that really upset me. And I thought, no wonder, people have thought, gee, we don't want to be around him or work with him. It's when you come across as cold or uninterested or you don't want to hear what they have to say. Really and truly what was going on in my mind was I was just trying to process what was going on with them and with their projects and stuff, and trying to take knowledge that I had and put it in. And then sometimes some of those people wouldn't even come to the table with the necessary information, and that was where it was their fault. But then you also had the part that was my fault. And so those two things just couldn't work together. That's what I found. It was just frustrating. Most people would be able to sit down and they'd be able to assess a situation with a client. And if the client doesn't know what they're doing, that person could make the decision whether or not to continue working with that client. And I just did not have that ability. I couldn't read them right. So there were some times that that the problem was me. There was other times that the problem was them, and then there were the times that there were both. So that's just how it went for many years. And I thought I wasn't worth anything, to be honest with you. And but I thought, I'm not giving up that easy. I'm not going to give up that easy. I'm too much of a fighter.
Mm-hmm. So on a social layer, it was like a mismatch between how you perceived yourself and how the rest of the world perceived yourself. And on your end, it was a bit of like filter failure in a certain way. So you couldn't filter information or social interactions in the way that most people can do it or interpret it, let's put it this way.
Sure. Well, sometimes people might take a jab at you, like with kidding you. And so I would try to do that, but sometimes I would say it in a wrong way and it would offend the person. It's just, and then sometimes, it's not that what I did was wrong, but that was not the type of person that they were. They weren't the type of personality to do that with. Does that make sense?
I think I understand, yes.
I also don't understand when people are flirting with me and would want to date me. I can't read those signals. I literally cannot tell, because I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, John, these girls over here, they really like you. And I said, I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea.
So how does that work out for you in terms of relationships?
I've never really dated. I've never really dated. I get very nervous with people too close to me. For one, it's not that I wouldn't ever date. I've dated a couple of times, and it just it just wasn't the right fit, I guess. And I don't know. I might be fine without ever being married, but there's part of me that would like to be married. Be in a relationship.
I understand. So is the main problem like getting into it, or would it be something that's also complicated once you're in a relationship because you're so picky with certain things and so specific with certain things that might make
I like
it
to be
difficult?
alone a lot. I really like my alone time. And when you're in a relationship, you don't get to do that. But then again, being alone a lot, you get lonely.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why I'm very open to as time goes on to get into a relationship with somebody. My dad was 47 when I was born, so he got remarried to my mom. So it's not too late,
It's never too late.
It's never too late. And I am definitely a testament to that.
Here comes the sunshine and burns away clouds like they never were.